All right, so the six frozen corpses in this room
Yep.
just got up their feet, and one of them tried to grab onto me as we fled away, and I was just able to thrust it off through the use of a shield spell.
Yep.
We are currently standing in this alcove. They've gotten to their feet, and they appear to be looking in our direction as the only source of heat in the vicinity. And
They want to
past
stick
us,
it out of
further
us.
down this wing, is a staircase leading up.
Yep. Oh, leads up.
Yes.
Okay.
And we should roll for initiative now.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's just sad.
What'd you get?
I rolled a natural one.
Well, you're not going first.
Now, what'd you roll?
Not a whole lot better, but an 8.
All right. Okay. Um, uh,
What about our shambling frozen zombies?
they rolled the best initiative somehow. They have an 11.
Wow. We're in trouble. They're gonna get to us.
All right. Yeah. I have 70 hit points. How many do you have?
Currently 103.
All right. And then we have.
As part of our
Six of
process
them.
for getting ready for this, can I have you stand behind me?
Sure. All right. So, yeah, then we have them. So, at the top of round one,
Yep.
we have the frozen dead.
All right.
All right. So, we've moved 30 feet away from the one towards the archway there, and we are basically just past it.
Yep.
All six of them, upon sensing the warmth of our bodies and our life force, instinctively move towards us.
Okay.
The frozen ground does not seem to cause them any issues at all.
No surprise.
However, we've encountered zombies before.
They're slow.
They are not as fast as us. The two zombies that were closest to us, who are at those two closest work tables, are able to dash or shamble a bit faster
Dash.
and get into melee with us but cannot attack.
All right.
The other four likewise do the same and are moving towards us.
Okay.
And that is their turn. And we come to you.
I'm gonna go with an old favorite.
What's that?
What I usually do when there's things trying to, claw and get to us.
Oh, are you going to go for a gust of wind?
Yep. Sure, I had it prepared. I almost always do, but always good to check these things.
Yeah, you did say you changed your spells around a little bit recently.
Yeah. No, not gust of wind.
All right. So you bring up your hand and you unleash probably quite an Arctic gale in this place.
Yeah. Good thing the night boys aren't here.
Yeah.
Like freeze them solid.
So remind me of gust of wind's length.
60 feet.
60 feet. Yeah, that's basically the entire room.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Not quite.
Yeah. It's quite a bit though.
Strength saving throws for
Strength
the
saving throw for. Yeah. For basically all of them.
Well, they're all heading this way, so yeah.
Yeah. Alright then.
Most importantly are the two that are on us.
That's a fail. 16, you said, is your spell save DC?
Yep.
That's a success.
Oh, is that one of the two that's on us?
That's a natural 20.
Oh,
That's a success.
that's just not right.
That's a natural 1.
Someone goes flying.
And that's a fail. So half of them succeed.
Okay.
One of the ones that is on us was one of the ones that succeeded.
Oh, so we're not in melee at the moment then?
I said one of them was.
Oh, one of them.
The one that tried to grab me is pushed back. The other one that came from the other table keeps its feet.
Yep.
And struggling to spell. As do two others, and the other two go flying back, and one goes flying back really far. He goes roll the one.
All right, keep in mind,
Yep.
any of them that are heading towards us
Yeah.
will do so at half speed.
Yes, except for the one that is in melee.
I don't know how that works.
Oh, you just froze there for a second.
Yeah, you did. You know, but you're fine now.
All right. So yes, the ones that will be moving towards you will be moving at half speed.
Yep.
But that doesn't apply to the one who is already in melee with us,
Nope, not unless he fails a saving throw.
which starts on his turn, I believe.
Yeah. So you're up.
All right, so I'm up. All right, I have taken a lot of damage in the last session. I don't want to be grabbed by one of these things. So as my shield spell fades, I am going to cast another spell. All right, I am going to cast Mirror Image.
There you go. It's been a while.
All right. So suddenly there are three more of me, which will hopefully confuse this mindless undead creature.
Yeah.
All right, so we come to the top of the round. Them.
Them.
Yeah.
All right, there's one on me.
There is one on you. So they have to roll for a saving throw now, right?
Yes.
All right. 6 more saving throws. Okay. That's one success. That's 2 successes.
Okay. The one that's on me, did it succeed?
That's what I'm going to roll for now. All right. So it was the second of those rolls, which was a fail.
Okay. Woo! 15 feet away from me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has to use its action to get back into melee with us.
Yeah. So if it's typical zombie speed,
Yes.
it can move 10 feet now.
And then move 10 feet as an action.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it does.
All right.
The others are still far. So one of them is still in melee with us. The others are far enough back that it's not going to matter, and they try and approach as best they can.
All right. Cool. That is acceptable.
All right, we come to you now. Well, you've created a nice current, a nice cross breeze to keep them away from us for the moment.
Yeah, I love this spell, I tell you. It's
Yeah.
highly underrated.
Well, it doesn't do damage, which is one of the things lots of people look for.
Yeah. It doesn't do damage to us either, which is really nice. Fred's damage is a good spell as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
I can't cast any concentration spells,
Nope.
so I guess we'll have to go with the old standard thing that everyone seems to like.
What's that?
Well, they're cold-based creatures, and they're all relatively in the same area.
Well, 5 of them are, yes.
Fireball.
All right, we're going to do a fireball against all of them except the one that's in melee with us. It won't be. It's not in the radius. And it's a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, I think this is the best fireball ever.
Those are all fails. 1 success.
Wow.
They are not dexterous.
No. Best fireball in quite some time.
All right, what'd you roll?
37 points of damage.
37. Okay. So, you, in a rather impressive display of command over both wind and fire, as you release a fireball through your gust of wind,
Yeah.
the frozen zombie that's right Opinus almost doesn't like the fact that you just sent a blast of fire past it. And the ones behind it really don't like it as it explodes into a fireball.
Yep.
And second here. Yeah, the damage is so high, I don't think it's going to matter.
Do they seem to be taking more damage than I would expect?
So you said 37, right?
Yep.
All right.
Or does it feel more like 74?
Well, let me put it this way. You unleash the fireball. It detonates. There's another roaring cloud of steam that this thing also doesn't seem to like as it goes by. And it warms us up a fair bit as it goes by. When it clears, there are 5 dead bodies on the ground in pools of water, which are currently beginning to freeze, but you've thawed the corpses, and we know the fact that zombies can sometimes be difficult to put down, unless done in specific manners. But the damage from your fireball was so massive, even their undead vigor doesn't help them. You took 5 of them out in one spell. For the second time.
Oh, this fireball is trying to redeem itself finally.
Yeah, against creatures that are vulnerable to fire.
Hey, it was still a 37-point fireball.
Yep.
3 6s and 3 5s.
Yep, it's quite good.
I looked at that, I was like, whoa!
Unfortunately, there's still one in the room, and it's right up in front of us. Which your fireball didn't help against, but yeah, that was very effective. I assume that's the end of your turn.
I think taking out 5 of them in one shot's not a bad turn.
Yes, you can see why that's a fan favorite spell.
It does have its moments.
Yep. My turn. Alright, so my main magical damage is cold. Why do I get the distinct feeling that's not going to be very useful against these things?
I glance over my shoulder and say, I left one for you.
Yeah.
No, I don't think cold is going to do anything to these things.
Alright. In that case, I'm going to try and conserve my spell slots because we seem to have there's quite fewer of them than there was
A while ago.
seconds ago. I'm going to take out my dagger.
Always, shiver and shake in your boots when a wizard pulls out a dagger.
Hey, I once did 38 points of damage with a dagger.
Yeah.
It was
See if you can do that again.
I highly doubt it. It was a very specific set of circumstances.
Alright.
Alright, I'm going to attack this thing with my enchanted dagger, so I get plus 8 to hit on this. Alright, that's an 18 total. That hits it.
Yeah, zombies have relatively bad armor classes.
Yeah, well, here's probably going to be the underwhelming part. 1d4.
1d4, woo! Plus 2.
4.
Oh, dexterity was a
Yep.
bit.
Alright, I stab it for 7 points of damage. It's a zombie.
Just slightly less than the 74 I did.
A lot less. I stab it! Probably one of the most ineffective ways of dealing with a zombie.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any vital organs.
Yeah.
Alright. Top of the round, its turn now.
Saving throw.
That's a success this time.
Alrighty.
Alright, you said you pushed me slightly further back in the room when this all started.
Yeah, I got you out of the way.
We were to set this up.
Yeah, you take a lot of damage. It lasts a while.
Alright, unfortunately, that means the zombie, being a zombie, goes for the nearest target. Which is you.
That was the whole point.
It lunges towards you through the gust of wind with its arms outstretched as if to grab you.
Okay.
And I don't think that's going to hit. Yeah, I don't think a 7 hits you.
Good God. I'm at a 7 armor class. I'd be really, really upset.
Alright. The wind is pushing against it just enough that it can't grab onto you, and you notice it's gnashing its teeth, which and seem to give off this almost icy mist, even in this incredibly cold temperature as it does so, as if it was trying to bite at you as well as grab you, but it can't.
I don't want to get bitten by these things.
No. That's all it can do.
Eh,
Your turn.
Well, my cantrip
Is fire based.
is fire-based.
You still have to hit it though.
I'm gonna burn one meta magic point.
Yeah, you're twin casting this, are you? Doubling your
Cast.
odds.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm doing it at disadvantage, so.
Yeah. All right, so you bring up your wand, you create two darts of fire which shoot at a point blank range at this thing through a wind tunnel.
Yeah. First at disadvantage was a pair of 16s plus all my bonuses.
That hits. And what's the second one?
Oh, so that's a 5 as the lowest number. And what is my plus to hit these days?
Quite high, I think. I think it's just one below mine, so it should be +9.
I haven't written this down. Yeah, +9.
So 14, they both hit.
4d10 damage.
Roll them separately, please. There is something important here for that.
Right. First one is 13 points of damage.
Which will double to 26.
Yep.
It does not like that, but it stands up. The ice that's on it seems to almost sublimate from the magical fire.
The second one is only 9.
All right.
Doubles to 18.
Yep. The damage is just too much for them, unfortunately. Or, well, fortunately for us, but unfortunate for it. You blast it with the two darts of fire, and as it burns, it gets blown back, and the wind not only knocks it back, but it fans the flames. It does. We've seen zombies fall before. And in short period after that, your gust of wind expires, as does my mirror images.
Yeah, once I realize I'm not getting up, I'm just not gonna. I'll stop concentrating on it.
Yeah. And with that, quiet comes upon this frozen building again.
Oh, when I launched that fireball, I know it's not a concussive thing, but I think that our buddies outside would have noticed.
Roll intelligence check.
Ugh, what a waste of a 19 plus 4.
Well, fireball does make noise because fire expanding out in such a close space like that displaces a lot of air, which does create noise. So there is some degree of sound to it. Possibly, it depends how far away they've gone. They're not running up to see if we're okay.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there's considerably less ice in here than there was a few moments ago for the next few moments before it all freezes again.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem to actually warm the place. It just seems to temporarily
Yeah.
get rid of some ice.
That's the thing about fireball. It's an instantaneous blast of fire.
Yeah, I was just thinking in the sense that something is actually actively maintaining the cold.
Yes, and it is colder in here than it was. I mean, our body's not used to the fact that for -60 degree weather
No,
in
probably the
springtime.
coldest we've ever experienced.
Yeah,
Well, we were in this corridor,
yeah,
and this set of stairs going up.
yeah. While we're doing this, I'm going to cast Major Armor myself because it's pretty clear that there are some hostile creatures here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that we have a moment, okay. So you want to leave this room behind then?
Well, we examined it fairly thoroughly, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
You
unless
were
you
in the middle of searching one of the bodies when it got up.
Yeah, well, I've already blown the snot out of it, so
Yeah.
it might have more stuff on it, but unless we're going to cast detect magic, there doesn't seem to be a point.
I could take the time to do so now if you want.
Do I think 10 minutes of searching this room more thoroughly would benefit me? Or do I think I already gone over it quite well?
Roll intelligence check.
I'm going to say yes because that was such a horrible number.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we searched it thoroughly. Then again, detect magic might help elsewhere.
Yeah. It's up to you.
Well, no, it's you technically.
Yeah. Eh, whatever. I mean, we just had a battle, even though it was short. A couple minutes of looking around while you do the spell. That's fine. We'll do that.
All right. So I'll get up my spell. Well, I guess I'll have my grimoire out and I'll ritual cast detect magic while you search.
My search is a 27.
All right. You don't find anything else when you're examining the bodies. They are thoroughly charred, and you suspect that the fireball and just all the other conditions they left in might have ruined anything else on their person. Their clothes aren't in the best of state either.
Yeah.
And neither are well, their bodies actually are relatively well preserved because of the cold, but
Okay.
rather frostbitten. And
Yeah.
you suspect these bodies will freeze up again
Well, it's not good to be really cold and then all of a sudden have intense heat inflicted on something.
and then freeze again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So I find nothing.
Yeah, you don't find anything. So when my spell finishes, I'm looking around and my eyes go wide. And I say, well, this entire place is radiating magic.
Gotta figure it.
Yeah. The ice we are standing on is technically magical in some way.
Really? Wow.
Yes. It's just it seems to mostly be everywhere.
What about that door?
Well, there is ice covering that door.
Oh. All right. There's so much ambient magic that we can't
Yeah.
detect any specific localized sources.
All right. I say, well, from my experience with this spell,
Yeah.
there is an ambient magical aura coming from, I suspect, from all this cold.
Yeah.
That is sort of like blanketing it like a screen or a film almost, this entire area.
Yeah.
But I probably would be able to focus through that to find anything like any actual magical objects. Like I can look at my grimoire and tell that its magical aura is distinct from everything else, from the ambient magic in this area.
Okay. So no other magic in this room.
No.
Well, keep the concentration going.
Yeah.
And we'll head up through that door that we were just
All right.
archway, sorry.
Yeah, so we're heading up the archway through the down through the wing and we're heading up the stairs, you said?
Yeah.
All right. So we go up the staircase,
Yep.
which means you can move ahead to the next image.
More.
Yeah. So this looks like a sleeping quarters.
Do these bodies look like more researchers, or does this look like something else?
We notice quite quickly that these bodies look distinct from the ones downstairs.
Okay.
They and this they are also one other thing we notice is the ice on the other ones upstairs was formed like it was frosting them and they had ice crystals forming in their body and stuff
Yeah.
covering them. Some of these have literal like ice covering them to the point that it's like freezing them to the ground almost. Like they're literally almost encased in it in some ways, in some of them.
Okay. Any magic in here?
Just the
Yeah.
ambient cold, it seems to be.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, detect magic doesn't detect undead.
Yeah, I know that'll make it too powerful a spell.
Yeah. That used to be
Well,
its own spell.
yeah. Well, there's one way of finding out. Let's walk across the room.
Hmm. Well, they seem to react to our body heat last time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If they get up and start chasing us, I'd call that a positive response.
Okay. Are we going to search this room then?
No, not
No?
yet. Got detect magic going. I want to get the most out of it. So we're gonna walk across the room.
Well, you're going the wrong way, but yeah,
Oh, we're going this
you're
way.
coming from that side.
All right. When I get to this door, is there a set of stairs heading down?
Yes, at the end of it, yes.
And I figure it goes into the room we just left.
Well, we saw two wings on the archway. We didn't look through the other way, but assumably this leads down to the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like a relatively small section of the building, which means there's probably something else in here, obviously.
All right, let's go back into the room we just left.
Yes.
I assume that's where the out of the
That
staircase.
comes through here. Yep.
And
The
then
ice is refrozen and the corpses are starting to freeze over again.
this
It
is
looks like a vault door.
all that's left.
Yes. And well, it's closed. Presumably it's locked.
I assume are the research notes written in common?
Uh, yes, they are.
Why don't we spend a few minutes and see if we can figure out if they have any idea what this was before we start trying to open it.
All right, so we are going to flip through the research notes and we're going to do some research ourselves.
Yep.
All right, that's going to be an investigation check with my assistance.
Oh, natural 20.
Okay.
Apparently there's an index.
There, yes. So we're able to find some of the more recent entries in this journal.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, we remember something that basically it starts off with various things about the dig site, and it is dated to about a little over a week ago.
Okay.
So we think the time frame fits.
All right.
So they discovered this old abandoned Lyrian outpost, which, according to this journal, from what they were able to determine, was uh, basically occupied by, well, basically, it's just described as a cult for all intents and purposes, who were able to
A
take.
Lyrian cult?
Well, no, from what they're able to determine, it seems like the cult took over the facility from once the Lyrians abandoned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they began using some of the leftover research materials that were in this facility to perform some occult research into the lower planes, is what it starts off as.
Hence the methods.
Well, methods are not from the lower planes.
No? Oh,
No, they're just elementals.
no. Okay.
However, as it turns out, they began performing various alchemical and magical experiments in hopes of, well, in it goes down various lines of research that we've seen all sorts of examples of what would be considered black magic, basically.
Yeah.
And eventually, these cultists decided that they found a way to summon a being of the lower planes and bind it here. But in order to do so, they were going to need to simulate the environment it came from,
That's the cold.
which we assume is that. They actually mentioned the name of this creature. It's not in common,
Okay.
but it it's read as Zakum.
Do I know who Zakum is?
You can roll an Arcana check.
18.
Right. A Zakum, for it is a thing, is actually a fiendish tree which grows in Cania, the eighth of the nine hells.
Okay.
And Cania is a frozen waste where it regularly reaches like minus 65 and below temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah. The Cania is a tree that basically feeds off of like most things from the hells, off of the blood of humans and the souls of mortals.
Yep.
And in doing so, it grows fruit like an ordinary tree would. But these fruits bear the faces of devils.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pleasant.
These putridly bitter fruits, which are extremely caustic and toxic to mortals, are said to be the fate of sinners whose souls the tree has consumed.
Yep.
However, certain arcane scholars, and it literally lists that the cult seemed to stumble this part, believes that these fruits can be used to brew an elixir of immortality, which seems to be what they were
All right.
working towards here. This temple which seems to have been repurposed for that purpose of growing a Zalkum on the material plane in the hopes of cultivating its fruits to create said elixir. However, in order for it to maintain here, two things were necessary. One were to magically simulate the freezing cold of the Cania itself, which
Yep.
is because the creature requires that extreme cold to thrive.
Mhm.
And the second, of course, was a steady supply of human sacrifices so their blood and souls can be offered up to it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it says apparently magical glyphs were inscribed throughout the temple to fill this place with the magical cold of the underworld.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It says no sign has been made. The entry near ends. No sign has been made of any of the cultists except for the various bodies upstairs. It says it is possible that without any steady supply of sacrifices, the Zalkum has become ravenous and is seeking out new lives to claim.
Yep. Good thing you mean
And
that's full of banishment.
yeah, and they say we have not yet been able to breach the vault door. It says the key seems to be missing.
All right. I probably assumed that they would search upstairs for the key, but I ain't gonna go upstairs and search for the key.
All right, so we're gonna go upstairs.
Yep.
During the time period at which we basically searched for that, my detect magic spell would have expired.
Yeah, well, we didn't find anything anyway. Incredibly low.
Did you add my assistance?
Yeah. 13.
Yeah, we don't find anything with that. We're not spending too much time in this room, by the way. We keep going in and out to avoid possibly disturbing any of these.
Yeah. Oh, it's all right. My bad. Took the wrong direction.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I'm going to examine this door.
all right. It is a heavy vault door,
What's it made out of?
metal.
Iron?
Uh, Probably. It is quite sturdy metal that is usually used for these sorts of doors. It's also frozen over.
True.
Mhm.
I'm going to scrub off some of the frost in one area.
Yep.
And I'm going to concentrate on the area that it cleaned off. Is it iron?
It is indeed iron, yes.
Well, I'm going to
It is
spend 10
cold
minutes.
iron, if that matters at all to you.
No.
It is an old magical defense against certain types of fiends.
It's going to be wood soon.
Yep. So you're going to try and transmute this entire thing to wood.
It's just, I think, inside my range. I'm not sure. You'd have to check on that. I don't know how big this door is. If it's too big, I'll just focus on the lock.
All right.
Regardless, it takes 10 minutes.
So you take 10 minutes to focus on, we'll just say the lock for simplification,
Yeah.
and you turn it to wood.
All right.
Who knows how that's going to react to the cold in here?
Yeah. It's going to stay wood for quite some time.
Yep.
All right.
Usually, just when we try and break it.
That's, yeah, well, it's going to be cold.
Yep.
I'm going to take out my hammer
Yep.
and I'm going to smack it with a hammer.
All right. Make an attack roll with advantage.
Um, I assume this is a strength attack.
Yes, it's a hammer.
11.
11. All right. That will hit. Let's see how much damage this does. I'm gonna roll to see because the lock technically doesn't have hit points. See if you break it. No, it's cocked. Well, you didn't break the lock off, but you did hit it hard enough that it jarred it. Which probably means it's not going to open properly now.
I'm not trying to break the frame. I'm just trying to break the lock.
I know.
Yeah.
It,
Okay.
that wasn't quite strong enough, but you did damage to it. You can try again if you want.
Yep. Higher number this time.
What's the result?
Well,
12? All right, you hit it again. Not as sturdy a hit as last time, I'm afraid.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
I keep smacking this thing.
All right.
Oh, I think I missed the door. And 11 again.
All right. You hit it this time, and the lock breaks off this time.
All right.
From the repeated blows, it's enough.
Okay, muscles, get over here.
All right.
We're gonna try and pull this door open.
All right. Strength check with advantage.
Advantage.
Assisting
Woohoo!
you.
Oh, 19.
All right. Between the two of us, it's a heavy door, and neither of us is very strong, but we actually manage it
Wow.
between the two of us. And it is an old, frozen, rusty iron door because it's been exposed to a lot of moisture, even if it's been frozen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
There is a staircase leading down.
Okay. I get the feeling there's something nasty down
Yeah.
here.
Oh, and by the way,
Mhm.
somehow it's even colder in there.
How big a fire do I need to summon a fire elemental?
I'm going to look at the specifics of the Conjurer Elemental spell. Because I assume you have the spell prepared, then.
I have conjure elemental prepared, yes.
Ah, it has to fill a 10-foot cube.
If I pile all of these tables together,
Yep. And bodies.
I don't think they're going to burn, but anyway.
We could attempt to make a fire of that size, yes.
All right, that's what I'm going to do.
All right, so
Yeah,
we're going to drag all the tables in the center of the room.
yeah. And get a fire going with prestidigitation.
Yeah, I can do that. We might need an
Uh,
accelerant to burn this.
I have flasks of oil.
All right, so we douse it in the flask. So right off one of your flasks of oil, we'll cover it in that,
Yeah.
and that should be enough to get a nice roaring fire going.
And then,
And we stand near that for a little bit, probably to warm up a little bit.
yeah, that'd be nice too. And
Yep.
then cast conjure fire elemental.
All right, so you cast Conjure Fire Elemental, which takes a minute.
Yep. Right off my 5th level spell slot.
Well, one of them. Yep.
First time I've ever conjured a fire elemental.
All right, and I will bring up the stat block for a Fire Elemental.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, not as resilient, but does more damage.
All right, so the flames, as you finish the spell, shape themselves into almost a fire spout for all intents and purposes. A
Yep.
roiling creature made of fire, which has two clawed hands and a vague face in the roaring flames.
Say, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Well, it's much brighter in here because it is a source of light.
All right. I'll put my staff away anyway because I have no real use for it.
Yeah.
And we're going through that door. Let's go. He's going to lead the way.
You're gonna have it lead the way. Okay. So the fire elemental obeys you. Its only real method of attacking is its touch attacks.
Yep.
Which you can make two. Yep. It's faster than we are.
Yeah, just gonna send it about.
Yeah.
Well,
Steam comes off this thing in this area. The
send it about.
cold doesn't seem to bother it too much. It's its own heat source.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 20 feet ahead of us.
Yeah, you would know for a fact that this thing can move through space quite easily because it's just fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can move through something as narrow as 1 inch, just like my arcane eye.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And anything that gets within near it or goes through it is ignited on fire, so you have to be careful.
Well, I wasn't planning on running through it.
Yeah, I meant other things too. You also know it is vulnerable to water.
Not cold.
It doesn't say cold. It says for every 5 feet the elemental moves in water, or for every gallon of water splashed on it, it takes 1 point of cold damage.
Oh, okay.
Technically, this is ice, which is cold.
Water.
What? Right?
Not water.
Well, technically, it is water. It's just frozen.
Not water. Ice.
Well, yeah. Well, ignore the fact that if you expose ice to fire, it melts and becomes water. There's a bit of conflicting magical effects in here. It seems the literal infernal magical cold of the underworld is in contest with the raw elemental fire of your elemental.
I'm gonna say it sublimes away, not melts.
Either way, it's enough for the moment. So you have a fire elemental
All right.
as we
Cool.
proceed into the next room.
Is that
That was the one you saw there. Ahead twice. All right, so this heads down to a large chamber. We suspect this takes up the rest of the structure we saw outside.
yep.
And there is very little in this room apart from ice
And a tree.
and a tree, which is growing out of the ground, and the ice, and it's moving as if there's wind in here, but there isn't any wind.
Yep.
And there are fruits hanging from this tree.
Cool graphic, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. So they kind of look a little bit like jack-o'-lanterns, a little bit.
Yep.
If someone took a jack-o'-lantern and tried to make it look like the face, approximate face of what devils we've seen look like, they look very fiendish.
All
And
right.
all of these fruits are looking at us as if they're alive and hungry, and the tree seems to be responding to the fact it seems to be able to see through these fruits as if they're parts of it, which it is.
I say to my elemental, go kill that thing, please.
Yeah, so that's what your instructions are.
Yep.
All right, we should roll for initiative then.
All right. Because
So roll for your fire elemental as well.
I mean, it's one of the lower planes. It's not friendly, whatever it is.
No, no, no. It's technically not a fiend. It's a plant, but it is still fiendish in nature. Your fire elemental gets +3 on initiative. I rolled better this time.
What'd you get?
I have a total of 20.
Wow.
Not natural, but
I have a 13. And the fire elemental has a 7. How about our friendly little tree?
yes. All right. Well, this is too hard to modify. Then that's nice.
Well,
All right. The Zakum
yeah.
has a 12.
All right.
Trees aren't exactly known for being dexterous, but oh, wait, 1 second. I was looking at the wrong stat block. Never mind. Their dexterity is the same. All right, and then you have a fire elemental at 7.
And if I remember correctly, fire elementals are immune to fire.
Yes, they are. They're made of fire. They're from the plane of fire.
Yep.
It's fine. Also, your fire elemental, for the record, has 102 hit points.
Cool. What's its plus to hit?
+6.
Is it one or two attacks?
It's a multi-attack is 2 touch attacks.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so, at the top of the round we have me.
Yeah, that's just weird.
I know. So, we do see some of the magical glyphs inscribed on the surface of these ice.
Yep.
We see the exceptionally large one that the Zakum itself is centered in.
Yep.
And we see 5 more in here. Clearly this is the ritual space which they conjured the magical cold of Cania to.
Okay. Not up yet, but I whisper to you, do you think this thing is bound here? In other words, the banishment won't work?
I could try. You can any creature that is summoned from another plane, you can at least attempt to banish. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but it did sound like they took steps to keep it here and for it to grow in this soil, as it were.
Yeah.
We could give it a try, or we could burn it with your fire elemental.
I plan on killing it, but yeah. Arcana check?
Right?
Never mind.
What'd you roll?
Total? 12.
We are familiar with summoning creatures from other planes of existence. We've done that a few times. We are not familiar with binding them to this plane of existence. That's a bit outside the magic we've dealt with in our time. We suspect that these glyphs are somehow important in all of this, and we assume that they serve a purpose beyond just simulating this frigid environment. It is possible. We might be able to pull off what you suggest, but that's about as good as you can get.
Well, there's the old-fashioned way of banishing things.
Yep, if it's a creature from another plane of existence, which, as far as we know, it is, it will be banished from this plane. If it's somehow been bound here to the point that it's become native to this plane, burning it will kill it.
I don't care. Either one's fine.
Alright, well, it's my turn to start with.
Yep, what are you gonna do? Not hit it with cold, that's for sure.
Well, I suspect a creature that's from the coldest part of the 9 hells is probably going to be immune to magical cold, I suspect.
Yeah, that'd be a safe guess.
Which unfortunately does limit me in what I can do.
Yeah. Your old standby.
That is what I'm thinking of going with. I think I'm going to start with a 3rd level magic missile.
Alrighty.
I'm also, just for context, standing in the doorway with you at this point, with the fire elementals in front of us.
Yep.
So I'm going to aim around the side and launch the 5 magical darts that are going to strike this thing unerringly.
Cool.
And I said, hopefully this thing's a tree. It's probably going to be relatively easy to hit, but hopefully it's not going to be hit us too hard.
Well, you don't have to roll to hit at least.
No, I don't. Unfortunately, when I upscale my magic missiles, I tend to roll 1s. Only 2 this time, though. So 5, 9, 13. 18 points of force damage. And magic missile, as always, tried and true, does what it does very well. It takes the bolts strike it,
yep.
But it's like shooting a tree with a gun. Basically, it burrows into its bark.
Yeah.
It disturbs the ice and frost that are covering it.
It does damage.
Reacts.
Yeah.
But it's a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the impression,
Yeah.
as my turn comes around, that these jack-o'-lantern faces aren't going to stay on the tree. Just as I fire off my fireball.
As you cast. Alright, well, you cast. So you're casting fireball at this thing.
Yep.
Alright. Well, for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, I know. I got one trick pony here. God.
It's an effective trick. Alright, yep.
I don't know what it is today.
It's just this. It's just the perfect storm for fireball. Yeah, this thing's a tree. It rolled a 4 on its saving throw.
Unless it's weak to fire, which it might be, it's taking 35 points of damage.
Okay, so the fireball goes off, and all of the fruit and this thing reacts to it violently, and the fruits let out this audible scream. You're worried that this fruit might have a larynx, because yes, fire seems to be very effective on it and everything else here.
So I can change that 35 to a
70. Which might be a rec. No, it's not a record for fireball, because we had all the ones go off all at once. But still, outside of that, this is second place, I think.
It's taken 88 points of damage in the opening salvo.
Yeah, it did not like that. It noticed that a lot worse than my magic missiles. So.
Wow.
Alright, yep, okay, there we go. That's the math done. Sorry. That was a lot more damage than normally you'd be dealing one round. It did not like that. It really did not like that. It's still standing. It's its turn. Are you going to move at all?
I'm hiding behind a fire elemental. I think this is the safest place.
To be fair, we can't really move into the room at this point.
It's fire elemental.
Oh. I just noticed one thing. 1 second. It wouldn't have helped.
Okay. Whatever that was.
Alright. Its turn.
Yep.
Its base starts to break itself free of the ice as we see its roots coming out and spider legs.
Not doing what I thought it was going to do, it's doing the other thing.
It starts to free itself free as it moves its branches back and forth and swings itself forward, and one of the fruit detaches and is being lobbed in our direction.
Alright.
It goes over the head of the fire elemental.
Yep.
And hits right at the base of the staircase where we are standing in the fire elemental, and it bursts.
This isn't going to be fun.
Releasing... Well, it releases a juice-like substance which reeks like bile, and as soon as it hits our skin, we can tell this is caustic. I need myself, yourself, and your fire elemental all to make dexterity saving throws, as it does something very similar to what you just did to it.
As I see it coming as a reaction,
Yep.
I'm going to cast shield.
Okay, you cast shield, you can do that. It has no effect on the saving throw, but you gain temporary hit points.
Yep.
Alright, I have rolled some very good portents for saving throws today, so I think I'm going to use one. Yeah, I don't know enough about this outcome to know what it would do, so I would use the natural 20 I rolled.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with that. So I rolled a natural 20, so I'm fine.
Would a 16 save?
Yes. What about the fire elemental?
Oh, he rolls a 16 without any modifiers. So
He gets +3, so you and the fire elemental both save. All right. I'm pretty sure the damage is... Yeah. It's quite similar to what you just did to it.
Oh, fireball damage.
Just not fire.
With acid.
Yeah. As, the juices spray and hit you, I'm able to avoid it, even though I'm resistant to acid.
Yeah.
Well, I've got good news. There's a 1 in there, and there's a couple of 2s.
Even the worst first, 8d6 is not going to be under 10.
26 total. Which you both succeeded, right?
Yep. So 13.
13. Would you take as so you the ring of orbs 10?
Yep.
You take 3.
I take 3.
And the fire elemental takes all of it.
Yep.
So that brings it down to 89. And one slight other difference to this to be noticed in the fireball:
What?
the juices and that bubbling liquid lingers at our feet.
Oh, it should not stand here.
Yes. I also need you to make a concentration check.
Oh, that's right.
DC 10, because
15 without modifiers.
yep, you're fine. You maintain concentration on your spell.
Yep.
Alright, your instruction... Alright, it starts to move as well, because it can do that. Alright. It's a... Yeah, it's starting to... It kind of maneuvers off to the side and starts trying to... This guy's trying to maneuver to get at us past the fire elemental, but it doesn't want to go near the fire elemental. So it's kind of maneuvering. It's not very quick. It's slower than the zombies, we suspect.
Okay.
Yeah, we think it's moving about half as fast as we can.
Alright.
It's a tree. Trees are not necessarily the most mobile creatures. We come to your fire elemental now.
It's going to go up to smack it twice.
Your fire elemental can easily make it. It's going to make 2 touch attacks. I'm just going to add one more thing to this. If you want, you can have your fire elemental occupy the same space as this thing.
Going right into the middle of the tree.
Alright, so it's going to occupy the same space. Okay.
And then it's going to hit it.
A creature touches the fire elemental. In addition, it can enter hostile space and stop there the first time. Alright, so before you even do damage,
Yep.
you ignite this and it catches fire. So it's going to take 1d10 fire damage before you cause it. Okay, that's an 8, which will double to 16. Before you even... Alright, now make your attack rolls against this thing.
18 hit?
What?
18 hit?
I should hope so. 18 is its armor class.
18 is its armor class.
Yes.
Wow. Then the second attack misses then.
Yeah, alright. So one attack hits 2d6 plus 3 fire damage.
So that'll be 5, which doubles to 10, plus 3 is 13.
Okay. Yeah, all the fruits scream once again. It's not happy. And it's on fire now.
Yeah.
Until it uses its action to douse the flames.
The elemental's just going to stay. Yeah, I ordered it to stay right there with it and keep hitting it.
Yep. Alright, so... we come to the top of the round.
Which is you.
Yeah, well, hang on. There is one other thing that's going to happen here.
Okay.
We're in the acid.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
So, I need to make the saving throw again.
Alright.
I see no reason not to use the other portent. So that's a 19. Not a natural 20. I didn't roll 2.
Right.
But the good news is, as I leap away from the pool of acid, this one seems to be all or nothing.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
This works differently, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. You just don't step in the acid.
Yeah. Alright. Well, this thing's taking a beating, and it really doesn't like fire, but I don't have any fire.
You need to learn chromatic orb.
Well, I want to do some damage to this thing. I'm going to hit it with a 4th level magic missile this time. Just keep peppering it with magical darts. Why do I always roll so many ones on magic missile? Sorry, no, why do I always throw so many ones when I cast higher level magic missiles? Whenever I cast magic missile at base level, it always works really well.
There you go.
I don't know why.
You did 18 points of damage last time. That's pretty good.
Yeah, alright. Well, this is a 1, a 1, a 2, a 2, a 2, and a 4. So 10, 12. That's another 18 points of force damage. So it's kind of sad when I upscale it and it's the exact same amount of damage as the lower level one.
Yeah.
But it all goes to the same place.
It all helps.
Yeah, it's not liking this. The magic missiles are doing negligible damage compared to everything else it suffered, though.
Yeah.
But we can see cracks forming in its bark.
Okay.
Your turn.
I leap
Dexterity
away.
saving throw.
I leap away. Well, I'll get out of the way with acid.
You have to make.
The other thing is we're going to separate.
Yeah, that's fine. Now that we know it has an area effect attack. That means one of us will be running towards this thing.
Oh, that's a 3 plus stuff, which is not going to be enough.
No, that's a fail.
I will use a point of luck.
Alright.
Ooh, that's a 16 plus a bunch of stuff.
You leap free of the acid, taking no damage.
And then, because I'm having fun with the spell for once in my career as a magic user in this campaign,
You're casting another fireball.
at 4th level this time because I'm running out of 3rd level spell slots.
I imagine you're out. You've cast 3 fireballs, or did you cast one of them? Oh, right, you have the ring. Yeah.
I have 1 extra spell slot.
Alright, I would ask you to roll a saving throw of the fire elemental, but it doesn't care.
It doesn't change.
If it didn't have its penalty to dexterity, it would have succeeded.
Whoa.
Oh, wait. I almost forgot the second time. Yes, magic resistance. It does succeed with magic resistance. This time.
Okay, so instead of doubling this, it's just going to take the regular amount, which is
Yeah.
5 points of damage. That's terrible.
Oh! Another ear-piercing infernal scream radiates to this place. It did not like that. If it didn't save, you think it would have died. It's on death's door already.
So,
Yeah.
160 points of damage to it.
I think it's a bit more. No, you're right. Exactly. Yeah, it's taking a beating. And fire is working out really well for you here.
Yeah, even with that pathetic one I just rolled.
Hey, it's working. More damage than I've done. Onto this thing.
I'm not going to be upset if I roll 4 fireballs and one of them's not so good. I'm fine with that.
All right, its turn.
And yeah, I'm at more than 30 feet away from you now.
Yes. Unfortunately, I would have gone this way. You would have gone that way. Or reverse. One way or another, one of us had to go relatively close to this thing.
Yeah, but it's got a fire elemental in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it takes a d10 damage.
Oh, at the start of its turn, it does take fire damage, yes, because it hasn't... is it the start or end of its turn? At the start of each of its turns.
Alright, roll a 10, please.
No, that's a 7, which doubles to 14. So, before this thing can... It looks like it's moving towards you as the flames burn up and higher, and it just goes up in a conflagration at this moment. Apparently, whatever juices or whatever compose this thing is incredibly flammable. The fruits all scream and they start to, while they're on fire, fall to the ground and just quite like pumpkins long after in November after Halloween, or which are now on fire as well.
Overripe.
Yeah, hit the ground and just they do spray their juices again as they fall, and but the juice seems to be flammable.
And there's a fire elemental in the middle of them.
Yeah, the fire elemental on it, which it just does what it's doing, and it just covers the thing and burns it down. At which point there is a detonation from the tree itself.
As in, it's going to cause us to take damage.
No, but there's like we've seen creatures from other planes of existence perish on this plane and leave it in some way.
Mhm.
The extreme cold seems to be coupled with all the extreme heat seems to have caused this creature to shatter.
Oh, okay.
There are bits of wooden bark which are currently burning quite well. Yeah. All right. So the Zalkum is dead.
Hey,
You have a fire elemental. It is still very, very cold in here.
I'll just stand closer to the fire elemental.
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's just standing there waiting for more commands from you, basically, until the spell expires. You can dismiss it early if you want.
Not while we're down here, just in case.
Yeah, I said, all right. Well, that thing has been dealt with. So no one's going to be trying feeding it any innocent victims or sacrifices to try and cultivate these fruit to brew elixirs of immortality.
See, the thing is, we could
Yeah.
cast a bunch of dispel magics and get rid of these glyphs.
Yes. That is the thing I'm thinking of. Oh, by the way, once that thing is gone, the center glyph is gone now. The large magic circle that was around the tree on the graph, that's gone. The other five are still visible.
Do you really want to burn off that many spell slots?
One second. I'm going to double check. Yeah, I don't have dispel magic prepared. I have counterspell prepared.
I do have dispel magic prepared.
And you have several scrolls of it.
Yeah, I'm not blasting out scrolls on this thing.
These glyphs are in likelihood what's causing this unnatural cold. While the tree is gone, the technically speaking, the cold of Cania, from what we understand, is likely what was animating those corpses.
Hmm. All right. I only have one third level spell slot, two fourths, and a fifth, so I can burn all my spell slots and dispel these things.
Potentially. We do not know what form of magic we're dealing with here. We do not know if dispel magic is going to just be able to dispel them easily.
True.
Sure.
All right. For the moment,
We could attempt to examine these glyphs and try and understand the magic that is powering them better before we do anything.
for the moment,
Yeah.
because I want to do this because it has a certain appeal.
Yeah.
I want us to leave, go find our buddies, while I have a fire elemental in tow.
Okay.
And I want to let them know that the problem has been taken care of thanks to your friendly neighborhood wizards.
Mhm. So we
Anyway,
go back outside.
oh, they went outside, outside?
Yes, they're outside.
Yeah.
Their lord was looking quite cold and was suffering from exposure, basically, for all those purposes. So they decided they would go outside back to the campsite and light a fire
Yeah.
for him.
Well, they're going to be treated to
And then they see a fire elemental, and then us.
sailing around with us.
Yes, it's basically a living pillar of fire.
Yeah. So,
Well, now it's really warm out here. The contrast is just that's probably going to be a bit odd for our systems.
yeah, just a bit. Before they freak out, which I
Yeah.
assume they're going to, I said, "Oh, thank you. You can go back to the elemental plane of fire."
All right. So as you do that, you dismiss it, and it goes. It just like flash paper. It goes. Another the flames just go away.
Yeah.
It's gone. You've dismissed it. Yeah, you can feel the spell end.
Go up to Lord whatever his
Buckman.
face is. Huh?
Duke Buckman.
Duke Buckman. I have good news and bad news. Which would you like first?
Says I could use some good news for the moment, I think.
All right. Apparently, sometime in the past, some
You
cultists,
notice he's no longer wearing his armor. They had him take him off, and he's just wearing his clothes underneath. Just to,
yeah, sometime in the past, some cultists had set up a bunch of magical, well, while getting into technical details of it, some stuff, and summoned a creature from the lower planes that was causing all this, and they're feeding people to it.
yes. Well, technically, they caused all this. The Zakum was just doing what it does.
Yeah. We've destroyed it.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the bad news is your researchers, which you probably already knew, are dead.
Yeah.
They
Can I
were
just have you roll an insight check, please? What did you roll?
I rolled a four
Hmm.
plus something and one, I think.
Plus your wisdom, yeah.
Yeah,
You have
five.
a 5. Well, I have a 16, so that is better. Well, you've known me a long time,
Yeah,
so you can tell when I've noticed something that you haven't, because I've always been slightly more insightful than you.
yeah.
There's something in his behavior and the reaction to that is a little. I said, you don't seem very surprised by that fact. Well, I assume that he sent the. I guess he assumed. I guess you did send the researchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did go down there,
Yes.
and he was oh, actually, wasn't even in the room, really, I suppose.
No.
Yeah. Oops.
Yes, we're back up here now. We're around the campsite. The campfire is lit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, well, anyway, we're gonna see what we can do about getting rid of all this cold around here, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You guys can head back if you want.
Yeah. The knight speaks up. Says, Did you find any of their research, their findings? We might says that possibly this expedition will be a total loss.
There is lots of paperwork down there, most of it involving, you know, the researchers couldn't get into the inner room where the creature, well, the demon or whatever it was.
It
Uh,
technically isn't. Well, first of all, it's not a demon. Technically, it's not a devil either. It's a plant. It just happens to grow in one of the nine hells.
they don't know that.
No, it is fiendish in nature, even though it itself is not a fiend. Is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say for
They
the
weren't able
benefit of
to
our
get in.
viewers.
Yeah, they didn't get into the intersection. They didn't have to deal with the many-headed uh,
Tree.
demonic tree that we destroyed.
Diabolic tree, but okay.
They don't know that. Many-headed demonic tree sounds rather interesting, which spewed caustic acid. You can probably see the holes on my shirt.
Yeah,
Um,
probably a little bit.
well, I took 3 points of damage, so
Yep.
the shield blocked most of it.
Yep.
Anyway, if you're gonna hang around here for a while, we're gonna go see if we can take care of the cold.
Yep.
Uh, we could bring it out for you.
Yes, they would like that.
All right.
Yeah. And it says we head back down. There's something about that. I guess obviously they sent the researchers here to find out what's going on.
I assume so.
Yeah. So yeah. And it's just like I just his reaction to what you said was a little odd. I suspect they might want the notes. Probably a
For
good idea. Huh?
not nice reasons.
No, I have no idea. I think that they were very eager to find out what's going on here, and I suspect it had something to do with their findings. Bear in mind that the original cultists who were starting to stop this, the fruits could be used to brew elixirs of immortality.
All right. I have a suggestion then.
All right.
First off, it's gonna let Buddy Boy have to sit around and wait for a while, which is nice.
Well,
Uh,
we're probably going to need to do that anyway. There's lots of books down there to gather up anyway. And we also, if we're going to dispel these glyphs, we're going to need to find out A, if we can, and more importantly, specifically, how we're supposed to do that.
All right. So we'll go into here. Actually, we'll go into here for one moment. I want to go up to one of the glyphs and examine it.
All right. Roll an Arcana check with my assistance.
So that's going to be um, 21.
All right, 21. All right, we notice that these glyphs have dimmed slightly
They
than we
seem
first been here.
fading
Oh,
now.
sorry?
They seem to be fading.
Not fading, they're not glowing as brightly as they were before. Basically, we noticed that the central glyph, which the Zalkum was originally growing out of, that vanished when it died.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's not even a trace of that thing in here now.
Not to be missed.
No. From what that roll, we suspect that all of these glyphs were basically working in conjunction with one another.
So we get rid of one, maybe.
Well, we
Well,
suspect that the loss of the major glyph probably disrupted whatever magical field these glyphs are creating that is creating this magical cold.
so
So if we disrupt enough of them, we might be able to put this down as it is. We suspect it's going the fact that we destroyed the major glyph, which was supporting the Zakum,
yeah.
that's probably going to have an effect in the long run. But it's probably going to take a little while. So if we can disrupt it further, it might bring it down entirely.
All right. Don't want to do that just yet. Then
All right.
I want to go back into here.
All right, we're going back into this room.
I'm going to cast my improved hut,
Yes.
and we can get in there where it's warm.
Yep.
Set our usual alarms and stuff, and have a long rest.
You want to take a long rest in here?
Yeah. Well, first off, I want him to wait because
Yeah.
you got me kind of concerned that something is happening here that's not above board.
All right. Since we're going to take a long rest, I'm going to take out the refilling flask of healing potion
Yep.
and drink it.
Yep.
And roll two ones.
Well, still four.
I heal 4 hit points. Because I'm down a fair bit. I'm still down 20 hit points. I didn't take any damage so far, though.
Woohoo!
Yeah, rolling an actual 20 against that helped.
And the real reason for the long rest, besides regenerating all of our spells,
So I can prepare to dispel magic, I assume.
that, and I want you to prepare detect thoughts.
All right, so we are taking a long rest.
Yep. So you gain back some hit points.
Yep, I gain 6 more. You also gain back more.
Yep. The only thing that won't happen is I won't be able to roll for the ring of the ram
We're
because
not passing dawn. Yeah. All right, I'm going to unprepare fly for the moment and prepare dispel magic because it's the same level.
and then
All right, and I guess I'll drop see invisibility for detect thoughts, a spell I haven't prepared in some time.
yeah, then after we've had breakfast,
All right, yep.
go back in here.
Can I just have us roll a perception check on your part? Just roll with advantage for the entire. I assume we'll be keeping watch.
Oh yeah. Perception?
Yep.
That would be a 20, dirty.
All right. Two of the knights came down during your watch,
Yeah.
looked into the room, saw the hut, and saw everything in here, all the damage, and thought
Well,
better of it and left.
the hut is camouflaged.
Yes.
All they saw was a pile of
Snow.
ice or something in snow.
Yeah. So they saw that. They saw everything that had happened in here, and they thought better of it and left.
And also, all of the research and everything else
Is in the hut,
is,
I assume.
well, the stuff that's not burned because we
Yeah.
set all the desks and everything on fire, remember?
Yes, we managed to save the work and the notes though.
Okay.
Okay.
During the night, while we're resting and whatnot, we will have read through much of that.
Yeah.
Is there anything pertaining in there to recreating this mess?
They one of the books that they found is the book pertaining to the original cult.
Yeah.
Basically, it basically is almost like a grimoire, or for the equivalent of whatever the cultists had is the close to their spell book or research.
All right.
It is not. It is written in Infernal, so I have to kind of use comprehend languages on that.
I don't really care about what's in it because I don't. I think,
Well, if you want to find out about how they created this, it might be in there, I suspect.
yeah, but I don't want. I just don't want them to get that knowledge.
Yeah.
So I think we'll keep that particular volume away from them,
Okay.
and then I want to go in there.
So, but it might help us understand this, is what I'm saying.
Easiest thing to do first without starting to warp our brains with infernal stuff. And I cast Dispel Magic on the closest one to the door
All right.
at third level.
Roll a d20 and add your intelligence.
12.
Sorry?
12.
All right. You cast the spell. You send forth the destructive arcane magic, and the glyph glows, and your spell fails.
So I could cast it at a higher level, but may still have to roll.
You could. We are not familiar with this type of magic.
All right.
I could give it a try if you want.
Ritual cast comprehend language.
All right. I will ritual cast comprehend languages. I take out the book and I read through it. All right. Takes a little while because there's a lot of material.
Mhm.
And whoever wrote this cultist wasn't exactly uh, 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 how very good at writing prose, basically.
Not a Pulitzer Prize winner.
No. All right. Our surmise is basically correct. By destroying the Zaukum and the glyph, which was the primary glyph that bound it to this plane and generated all the cold,
Yeah.
it has weakened the hold of Cania's magic in this temple. In fact, it's even gotten a bit warmer, if you noticed, since last we were here, since our rest.
Yeah.
As is, this will basically weaken it, but we need to disrupt more of the glyphs to shut it down. The rest of this, apart from how they did this, is the rest of the research is all dedicated to finding some way of cultivating the nectar, as what they call it, of the fruits, of the devil fruits that this thing grows, into making the elixir. It
Um,
trails off before it gets to any detail about that, really, but it's basically they were still in the early experimental stages of that.
so while you're doing that, I
Yeah.
want to identify some of these. I got 7 of these vials.
Remember correctly, there was 10 total.
Oh, sorry, 10 vials.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, you can identify those while we just for expediency's sake while you're identifying those. All right.
6 of them were the same, right?
Well, four of them were a deep red color,
And
and
the
four
other
were
ones were
an icy
ice
blue.
blue.
All right.
The ice blue ones I want to identify.
Do you want to identify the other ones too?
I just wanted them. Because this is gonna. I don't want
Because
to.
they look similar, you want to identify one of each.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So you start with the icy blue one. All right.
Yeah,
It's a potion of cold resistance. You think they all are?
yeah.
It does make sense they would need to be able to protect themselves in this environment.
And the red ones are healing potions, I
Basic
assume.
healing two are basic healing potions and two are greater healing potions. Basically, from what I can tell from these notes and the research, they only just began to experiment with the nectar of this of the fruits, basically, in order to start on that. They were probably a long ways away from having an actual elixir to test. So this would be like a starting point for research on this subject, my best guess.
Had they collected any of the nectar?
They did, and they began experimenting with it, but it probably would have evaporated by this point.
And we blew up the trees, so there's no more nectar, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, the nectar would not have frozen, not in any temperature that would appear on this plane of existence naturally.
Yeah,
So
so,
all the other liquid we found with those vials was frozen solid.
all right. Probably a good idea that that's gone.
Yeah. So from that, my basic point is yes, this could be used as a starting point for researching how to make that elixir. And yes, the knowledge in this book, if in the hands of a competent magic user, could summon another one of those things to this plane.
Well, that's not happening. The book doesn't exist.
Where are we putting it?
Bag holding.
Okay, you're putting it in your bag of holding.
Yep.
Right.
What am I calling this thing just for future reference?
What the
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 book.
the oh you can write uh cultist notes on Zaukum, which is
I'll just put
Zaccoum. That was spelled.
I will write Zalkun book.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. So
So
the
you know
good
what it
news is, in reading that, we now have a much better idea of the magic that was used here. These glyphs are a modified version of the planar binding spell.
Okay.
And I say modified because they are technically binding planar energy to this plane as opposed to a creature. That was probably what the central glyph was for.
Okay.
So it's gone, so it's weakened now, but the other five will continue to try and draw as much infernal cold from Cania as possible. And so this place will probably remain frozen over for the most part. And any dead corpses here might potentially animate as zombies.
All right. That last little bit's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Unless there's a time frame for this petering out to be relatively soon.
Well, from all the notes we found, we suspect it's not going to stop
Anytime
currently.
soon.
We might need to knock out more of these glyphs.
And the
Restricting one or two more might work.
modified planar binding would put the spell at what level?
Sixth.
We can't do that.
No. So it will be an attempt on our part to do so.
All right.
My portents are not useful this day, unfortunately.
All right. I will burn one more third
I'm
level,
going to attempt as well because I think we need to take out at least two of these things.
and I am going to use the inspiration that you gave me last time.
Yep. Actually, that's a good idea. I'm going to do the same.
That's a 15 before my +4, so that's a
That's
19.
enough. All right, let's see how I roll.
Woohoo.
I also roll a 15 before modifiers.
So we get rid of two of these things.
So that's a 20 and a 19 on our part. So we can disrupt two of the glyphs. So they shatter quite like ice this time as the lines vanish.
Mhm.
And each time we do that, we notice that the other glyphs flicker. And they flicker once the second one's gone, they flicker even more.
How long do I figure it's going to last now if we just stay with this?
All right, Arcana check.
Oh, somewhere in the 20s.
All right. The glyphs are faintly glowing and they're even flickering now. We suspect we've disrupted this enough that it will eventually fall apart on its own.
What's eventually?
All right. If we had at this point, we're now certain that if we had knocked out one of them, it would have worked, but it probably would have taken about a year.
So we're down to what now?
Well, we've taken out two of them, so we are probably looking at a season, 3 months.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to give it another try?
Yep.
All right. Move on to a third glyph. You're looking for a DC of 16.
15 won't be enough.
You can use luck if you want.
I am. That's even worse. Not enough.
Do you want me to try it?
Yeah, I burned all my luck.
Okay. Well, we can keep trying.
Yeah, I know.
Each dispel magic is a fresh attempt, but we no longer have any advantages.
Yeah, I know.
All right. I need to roll an 11 or higher. That's a 7.
I only have one third level spell slot left, so I'll burn a fourth.
It doesn't do anything, more unfortunately.
And I blew it off. Doesn't do anything.
All right. I'll try once more. That's a 2. We're going in the wrong direction here.
All right, this is my last attempt. Otherwise, it's a season will have to be enough.
Yeah.
That's a 2 as well.
All right. I'll try once more at 5th. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to try at 4th. Upscaling doesn't do anything at this point.
Unless we have 6 level spell slots.
That's a 16 exactly.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So I take out another one. They flicker and almost dim completely. From
So
that, I say, all right, based on the calculations, this might last a week.
that's acceptable.
Yeah.
All right. Keeping that book a secret,
Yes.
we gather all the notes together that the research did, which are useless.
Yeah, they basically were just trying to make accounts of this.
Yeah, because they
I
didn't.
said at some point they probably will be able to figure out that they found notes pertaining to what the cultists were doing.
Um, are these loose pages?
There's loose pages and there's also like an actual like almost like a portfolio style notebook. Kind of similar to what you have for your notebook.
Can I remove anything specific about this Zarkum book without making it look obvious that it's been doctored?
You can try.
That's what I want to do.
This will probably be sleight of hand.
All my luck has been burned.
Mm-hmm.
And die. Be useful. So just dexterity then?
Sleight of hand. If you don't have sleight of hand, right?
No, I have stealth. Does that help?
No, it doesn't. It's not. You're not hiding. Dexterity.
18.
That's very good. All right. It's a surgical procedure, which is good, and you're able to remove just enough of the pages. You think that it will make it really hard. They may not even be able, and they don't seem to be quite uh,
Astute.
astute towards research. So they'll probably hand it off to someone else at some point. They might, down the line, someone might be able to figure out that they probably had access to some notes that are missing, but
But,
that's long in the future and will probably be long gone by then.
well, we're going to be long gone real soon.
Yeah.
All right. Detect thoughts lasts a minute, right?
Yes. And I need within 30 feet of the target.
How long does it take? To walk from here to there?
Less than a minute, but I would recommend I cast a spell before I go out.
Yes.
Yep.
Not that dumb. All right. We will walk quickly.
All right. I will cast Detect Thoughts, and when I'm within 30 feet of the Duke, I assume,
Yep.
you want me to read his thoughts.
Yeah. Walk up.
Unless I probe deeper, so I use the spell, I'm just going to get
Uh,
Super's thoughts.
I am going to just try and guide his
You can
thoughts.
do that. Yep.
So I walk up. I have the papers. I said, "What's his name? Duke.
Buckman.
Duke Buckman. There you go. These are the research notes. We managed to disrupt the magical circles. This place should be safe for you to go in yourself and
In about a week's time.
in about a week's time. Otherwise, I'd recommend staying out of it. It is gradually warming up.
Yeah. Well, you notice that some of the ice has melted,
Yep.
but basically within the cave itself, it's still frozen over.
I'm not waiting for his response because I want to quickly go on to mention that. Uh, all that we could find was these research notes from your researchers. So we didn't find anything about whoever made this thing to begin with or why.
All right, let's see how closely guarded his thoughts are in the situation. Yeah. All right. He looks kind of disheartened. You can see it on his face. But he's like, well, at least something came of this. Maybe some good will come from these notes. Says, I thank you for at least this much. Says, and my countrymen are dead, you said?
Well, at one point they get up and try to kill us.
Yeah,
They
needless
were
to say, he's not thrilled about that.
they were cold, frozen zombies,
Yeah.
and well, we blew them up. So sorry.
Says the head of the knights says, "Well, says you laid them to rest as best you could."
Well, once this place thaws, you can give them a proper burial if you like. What country are you from, by the way? I don't recognize the livery.
Uh, it says, "Oh, we are." This is just an old ancestral seat. It says to the north of here. It says we've once ruled as far as this land, but a cult of sorcerers took some of it from us. They say, what?
I just laugh. Well, I know what he's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh well. Fortunes of war.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. We're out of here.
Yeah. So, as we head off, I assume still heading northward because that's the direction we want to head in.
Yep.
I assume you want to meet up with me so we can discuss what happened.
Yeah. What was his thoughts?
Well, he was somewhat disheartened when we it turns out we did that the notes we found didn't shed any light on what the cultists were up to. His thoughts definitely were turning towards that elixir. Apparently, it was the entire reason for this expedition was the possibility of finding out about that, as far as I can tell.
Was do you think his intent was to recreate this sort of thing to, you know, feed souls to it to try and get that elixir again?
I was just reading surface thoughts, so I didn't get that much. He definitely the entire purpose of this expedition from his home definitely was to find out about that elixir specifically, if it was possible to create it, if they had succeeded in making any, if it could be reproduced anyway.
Yeah, I don't really want that in the world.
He does, as far as I can tell from my detect thoughts, he doesn't even know about what the Zalkum really is.
No.
No, someone else in his kingdom might.
Well, they don't know now.
No. Yeah, he was telling the truth about apparently the court of the Seven was responsible for taking some of these lands, but he also held back the fact that he had some degree of animosity for the elves, apparently, in the Elven lands. But that's all I got. Like, it was like almost like a grudge against them.
Hmm.
Maybe they didn't help them or something. I don't know. That's surface thoughts for tech thoughts is all you can get real sometimes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here before
Yeah.
anything else happens.
Yeah. So we head off towards the north. We're gonna be putting in some more walking today, obviously, because we just had a long rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is where we're going to call it for tonight.
One dead demonic tree.
Diabolic tree. But anyway, yes. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe. And please join us here again next time as we continue our adventures in the wilds of Taiga, and we are nearing the Elven lands. We're back on course now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.